One of the most common questions I get from new students is, what's the difference between music genres and how do they know which genre of music to play when they go to clubs? Now in this video, I'm going to break down the main genres of music DJs play in clubs and how to find the genre that best fits you and the different ways to mix each genre. Now firstly, what are the main genres? Now by now you know me, so instead of losing you in boredom by going into huge depth on all the subgenres of house music, let's focus on the main differences, and from there you can make an informed decision on what feels best for you, and then you can begin the process of understanding music genres and you can delve deeper into your preferred sound. Now the easiest way to categorize the main genres DJs play, I feel, is to put them into three main categories. Number one, the deeper kinds of house. Two, heavier styles of dance. And three, vocal driven music. Now let's start with the deeper kinds of house. Tech house is here in a big way, and even though it's renowned for its bass lines and cool grooves, it is a lot more subtle than the heavier styles of dance music when mixing. It's all about layering your songs and controlling how the songs sit together with advanced EQ methods. Now tech house is hugely popular right now and in many ways is a descendant of deep house and before that house music in general. But house music in general is more focused on groove and is categorized by repetitive 4 to the floor beats and undoubtedly has a disco influence. Now deep house on the other hand isn't as subtle as tech house, but like tech house, it focuses on bass and groove, but also has soul, jazz, and funk influences, whilst tropical house has a summer beach party feel and it sits closely alongside 90s house. Now sitting perfectly between the deeper kinds of house and the heavier styles of dance are genres like future house and bass house. Now future house is often described as a fusion between deep house and EDM and often blends deep tropical hooks with drops, and bass house is often referred to as a combination of future house and dubstep, as the drops have the famous wobble that dubstep is renowned for. Now both future and bass house are perfect transition genres for people making the journey from EDM to the deeper kinds of house. Now I find most house, tech house, deep house, future house and bass house sit anywhere between 118 to 126 beats per minute. Now moving into the heavier styles of dance music, we have electro house and big room, which are both often referred to as EDM. But technically EDM is an acronym for electronic dance music, which when you think about it is pretty much all dance music these days. So when you hear someone saying EDM, they are most likely referring to music with atmospheric breakdowns followed by big build-ups and drops, which was huge for many years, but it seems the popularity around big room and electro house is dying out a little these days, and it's being replaced with the deeper kinds of house, which basically has more emphasis on bass and grooves. Now if you don't believe me, just go to beatport.com where you can see the top 100 selling songs, and you'll notice that tech house and the deeper kinds of house in general are dominating, as 4 years ago electro house and big room dominated. Now big room and electro house was made famous, and some may even say commercialized, by artists like Martin Garrix, Hardwell, Steve Aoki and many more, and the BPM is typically 128. Now slightly faster than EDM we have progressive house and trance. Now progressive house and trance have less drops and the music seems to evolve more over the course of the song, rewarding the listeners with subtle variations and anthem style choruses. Now of course there are many different types of trance, but again this video is designed to introduce people to the main genres and to help beginners understand the differences and to find a genre that feels right for them, and then basically encourage them to dive deeper and explore the subgenres of that chosen genre. Then there's trap. Trap in ways is a dance version of hip hop and rap, with often gritty vocals in the verse building up to big drops with heavy kick drums and multi-layered hardline and melodic synthesizers. Now the beat can vary from double time to triple time, and even though the BPM is typically 140, it can vary from 70 to 170. Now, trap was made popular by artists like Diplo and Yellow Claw, and if you want your fix of heavy beats, trap is probably your best bet these days. Moving into the heavier and faster styles of dance, you have hard dance, hard bass and hardstyle, where songs usually sit around 150 beats per minute. Now, these genres are influenced from techno and hardcore and are characterized by overdriven and hard sounding kick drums with intense bass lines and distorted synths. Now, before I move into vocal driven music, many people may say, what about techno? Now, techno is probably the most misunderstood of all the genres, and lots of people refer to all dance music in general as techno, when really techno is its own genre and has its own distinguishable sound. Now, techno focuses more on low bass and heavy beats and is considered darker than generic house music, which is usually a lot lighter in feel, and in many ways techno is the enemy of EDM. And even though I find DJs that basically like EDM may be open to techno, basically in my experience people who are into techno have no time for EDM or commercial music, and they're purists for their chosen genre. Now, commercial music refers to what you hear on the radio. Now, sure, there are loads of subgenres of commercial music like R&B, pop, hip-hop, rock, and even retro. But I feel the best way to characterize like this kind of stuff in general is to call it vocal-driven music. Now, believe it or not, but mixing vocal-driven music can be difficult for a lot of DJs, as not only are the phrases half the length, so say they're 4 bars and dance music's 8 bars, but there is usually very short intros and singing the whole way through the song, which makes mixing a lot faster to avoid vocals and vocals. Now, vocal-driven music is most likely what people will expect you to play at most house parties and functions, as people in these atmospheres like to sing and dance along to songs that they know. Now, for the purists and producers out there, I do understand this is a very generic breakdown of the main genres, and a true breakdown would go into the different ways melodies and bass lines are arranged and whatnot. But this video is designed to help non-musicians to get started without overwhelming them too much. At the end of the day, you don't need to know how to deconstruct a song to play it or be a great DJ, but you need to choose the right kind of music for the events that you want to play at. And the best way for you to do that is to go to events and club nights and identify the type of music that resonates most to you, and then either find clubs that do what you do, or you're going to have to fit into what they do. Personally, I remember once I was asked to play at an event that I'd never been to before. I thought I knew what kind of music they played, and I prepared some music in advance, right? But then when I turned up, the club was way more commercial than I expected. And when I came on with my set, it was way too serious, and I could see by the crowd that they weren't really responding to what I was playing. So basically I had a choice, right? Continuing playing a set that no one liked or responded to, or I could compromise my style for the sake of the atmosphere in the club. So this is a choice you're probably going to have as a DJ. Now, that night, I did compromise my style because I like creating atmosphere. Like, I know I can stay true to what I do anytime, but I love creating atmosphere in the club, which means, you know, I went to the kind of music they wanted, and then from there, I tried to take them on a journey back to what I did. So I was doing my best to kind of like stay true to the atmosphere in the night, but doing my best to always stay true to my sound. Now, at the end of the day, if you're unsure what music genre to play, I suggest that you go to clubs that specialize in a particular genre and see what kind of people like go there, and just get a feel for the night, observe the tracks that get people excited and how the DJs are mixing those songs. Now, for instance, when mixing the heavier styles of dance, e.g. big room, electro house, dubstep, trap or hardstyle, I feel it's all about playing the best parts of each song to create maximum effect. But when mixing the deeper kinds of house music like tech house, deep house, and more minimal or even progressive music, it's about layering your songs, which means controlling how the songs sit together with the EQ and taking your listeners on a journey. Now, personally, I have got experience with all this, right? I was around 4 to 5 years ago when the EDM scene was thriving, and I actually loved the energy of that music. But these days, if I was mixing for myself, I have moved into the deeper kinds of house, as I find you can really use the EQ to draw out the transitions, and I really love the feeling of that. But then there was a time when I first started my own club, like now almost 20 years ago, where I just needed some extra money on the side to pay the bills, and so I was doing a lot of function work, and to be honest, at those functions, they didn't want to hear EDM or house, they just wanted to hear songs that they knew. So it was about having the right kind of music for that party. Now I have a video coming up on where to find music, and shortly after that another video with tips on how to build the perfect playlist for the events that you're playing so you can be ready for any eventuality. Now for a limited time I have a free advanced course where I'm going to show you how to do mashups on the fly, how to use the EQ for flawless transitions, and also when is the best time to use effects and loops to bring a new level of excitement to your mixing. So check out the link below for that. And also if you're new to DJing or have an important show coming up and want to make 100% certain that you're ready and create a really good first impression, assuring repeat shows wherever you play, you 100% must check out the Club Ready DJ course. This course has taken thousands of people from zero to hero, and I'm confident by the end, you're going to know what it takes to DJ at the highest level. So check out the links below for that. Anyway, hit subscribe so you never miss a beat, and remember, you only get what you go for.